pollution. Water use. Growing competition for water supplies, combined with climate change, population growth, and water pollution, threaten the food sector's water security and contribute to water availability threat that the World Economic Forum recently ranked as the world's top global risk. Water use. Agricultural production is the most water-intensive activity, consuming roughly 70% of the world's fresh water. Moreover, one-third of the world's food is produced in areas or high or extremely high water stress or competition. About 21% of rain production and 56% of the world's irrigated crop production takes place in high-stress regions. As estimated, 20% of the Earth's groundwater basins are being overexploited, many of them in regions of significant agricultural importance, including California and Midwest Ogallala Aquifer. Agriculture drains aquifers in many regions of the world, and meat production is one of the biggest polluters of waterways worldwide. See how major food companies compare. Water consumption. Water consumption is the portion of water used that is not returned to original water source after being withdrawn. Consumption occurs when water is lost into the atmosphere through evaporation or incorporated into a product or plant, such as a corn stalk, and is no longer available to reuse. Water consumption is particularly relevant when analyzing water scarcity and the impact of human activities on water availability. For example, irrigated agriculture accounts for 70% of water use worldwide, and almost 50% of that is lost, either evaporated into the atmosphere or transpired through plant leaves. A holistic understanding of water stress. WRI's Aqueduct Water Risk Atlas account for the impact of both water use and consumption by using a baseline water stress indicator. Baseline water stress measures the total annual water use from municipal, industrial, and agricultural sectors expressed as a percent of the total annual available water after all upstream water consumption has been subtracted. By acknowledging both total water usage and consumption, Aqueduct users can rely on the baseline water stress indicator to evaluate overall freshwater demand and availability in the specific watersheds. Already more than 1.4 billion people live in the river basins where the use of water exceeds the minimum recharge levels. In the next 12 years, water withdrawals in developing countries are predicted to increase by 50%. Measuring water usage and consumption is critically important to identify areas that are at risk of water scarcity and excessive competition among users. After all, in order to prevent or manage water risk, we must first fully understand it. Water pollution. Water pollution occurs when harmful substances, often chemicals or microorganisms, contaminate a stream, river, lake, ocean, aquifer, or other body of water, degrading water quality and rendering it toxic to humans or the environment. Causes of water pollution. Water is uniquely vulnerable to pollution, known as the universal solvent. Water is able to dissolve more substances than any other liquid on Earth. It's the reason we have Kool-Aid and brilliant blue waterfalls. It's also why water is so easily polluted. Toxic substances from farms, towns, and factories readily dissolve into and mix with it, causing water pollution. Some categories of water pollution are groundwater, surface water, ocean water, point source, and non-point source. Effect of water pollution on human health. To put it bluntly, water pollution kills. In fact, it caused 1.8 million deaths in 2015, according to a study published in The Lancet. Contaminated water can also make you ill. Every year, unsafe water sickens about 1 billion people, and low-income communities are disproportionately at risk because their homes are often closest to the most polluting industries. Waterborne pathogens in the form of disease-causing bacteria and viruses from human and animal waste are a major cause of illness from contaminated drinking water. Diseases spread by unsafe water include cholera, diarrhea, and typhoid. Even in wealthy nations, accidental or illegal releases from sewage treatment facilities, as well as runoff from farms and urban areas, contribute harmful pathogens to waterways. Thousands of people across the United States are sickened every year by Legionnaire's disease, a severe form of pneumonia contracted from water sources like cooling towers and pipe water, with cases cropping up from California's Disneyland to Manhattan's Upper East Side. The effect of water pollution on the environment. In order to thrive, healthy ecosystems rely on a complex web of animals, plants, bacteria, and fungi, all of which interact directly or indirectly with each other. Harm to any of these organisms can create a chain effect, imperiling entire aquatic environments. When water pollution causes an algal bloom in a lake of marine environment, the proliferation of newly introduced nutrients stimulates plant and algae growth, which in turn reduces oxygen levels in the water. This dearth of oxygen, known as eutrophication, suffocates plants and animals and can create dead zones, where water are essentially devoid of life. In certain cases, these harmful algal blooms can also produce neurotoxins that affect wildlife, from whales to sea turtles. What can you do to prevent water pollution? With our actions, it is easy to the oil company with leaking tanker, but we're all accountable to some degree for today's water pollution problem. Fortunately, there are some simple ways you can prevent water contamination or at least limit your contribution to it. 1. Reduce your plastic consumption and reuse or recycle plastic when you can. 2. Properly dispose of chemical cleaners, oils, and non-biodegradable items to keep them from ending up down and drain. Maintain your car so it doesn't leak oil, antifreeze, or coolant. Number 5. If you have a yard, consider landscaping that reduces runoff and avoid applying pesticides and herbicides. Number 6. If you have a pup, be sure to pick up its poop. How can we prevent water pollution with our voice? One of the most effective ways to stand up for our waters is to speak out in support of Clean Water Rule, which clarifies the Clean Water Act scope and protects the drinking water of 1 in 3 Americans.